Reasonable accommodation, that is the topic of tonight's byline. Canada is a welcoming country for people from around the world, but how far should this country go to accommodate people that choose to leave behind their homeland and make a new life here? That was a big part of the debate in Quebec's election, with the fight over the Values Charter and the move to say there should be no obvious religious clothing or jewelry worn by any public servant. The charter caused heated debate, but it's not the only one of its kind in Canada. Across the country, there are smaller skirmishes, from the Aikido class in a Halifax city-owned community centre, the one that told female students and instructors not to touch, spar, or deal with a Muslim student out of respect for his religious beliefs, to the student at York University that said, well, his religion prevented him from performing group work and interacting with women. In that case, the professor stood his ground and said no. The student changed his mind, but the school and the provincial government, they said no. The professor was wrong and the student should have been accommodated. It's incidents like these two cases that build up resentment in Canadians coast to coast who see it as people taking advantage of our welcoming society to trample on Canadian values like equality. It also shows the disconnect between officialdom and the general public. So that's why I'm concerned by the call from the Toronto Star to make it easier for Canadians to see their doctor without having to speak English or French. The Star, citing a report from the Centre for Research on Inner-City Health at St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto, notes that more than 250,000 Ontarians are unable to conduct a conversation in either English or French, and all too often their family doctor can't understand these people's mother tongue. The Star goes on to note that not enough doctors speak languages other than English and French. Analyzing 2006 census figures and a 2006 database of Ontario's 10,260 primary care physicians, they found that only about 3.7% of these doctors were proficient in any of the main unofficial languages spoken in Ontario: Chinese, Italian, Punjabi, Portuguese, and Spanish. The Star is quite worried that in at least 5 census divisions, not one doctor spoke these languages. The newspaper of record for the Liberal Party and the researchers from St. Mike's, they have solutions though. They want preference given to medical school applicants that speak a different language. In other words, don't train the best minds to be doctors. Base Canada's healthcare future on whether the candidate speaks Chinese or Portuguese, or bring in foreign medical graduates to work in these areas. That's their argument. Now, here's an idea that the Star only gives passing mention to and the researchers ignore. When you come to Canada, learn the language. Pick one. We've got 2. I grew up in an area filled with immigrants, from the Serbians 2 doors down, the Poles around the corner, Filipinos, Indians, Vietnamese, Croats, Italians, Lebanese. Do you know what all of these families had in common? They learned to speak English, and they were proud of that. My friend's father used to tell me of coming to Canada from Croatia and knowing one word: hi. He told me he walked around like an idiot. That's his word, not mine. And he would just say, hi. But he learned more of the language. He got a job, he got married, he raised a family, and he's had a good life in Canada. That's what we used to encourage, and I can tell you stories all day of immigrants who've had the same experience, and they're happier and prouder for it. What this idea will do is only add to further isolate, further ghettoize the people that come here. Now, I know that those that support it will call it the compassionate thing to do, and they'll say that I'm being harsh in demanding that people learn one of Canada's 2 official languages. But really, the reverse is true. The compassionate thing to do is not to coddle, but to help people learn the language, which doesn't include making sure they have doctors, nurses, and everything else provided to them in their mother tongue. And that's the byline.